welcome to the Limited Adhesion GT3 League Season 6. This time we're in America at Watkins Glen. Joining me in the commentary booth once again is Random Dave. How are you this evening, Dave?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's a long one, this. Did you bring any snacks?
Yeah, and I've got some gin and lemonade to keep me going as well.
Gin? Nice. I've gone for the usual bottle of reds.
Ideal. Yeah, it's an endurance race, this one, so it is 2 hours in total race time. It's going to be a long one, but yeah, exciting. I do like Watkins Glen. It's a nice open track, plenty of room for overtaking. Potentially some crashes as well. It has got those kind of nick points, especially at the bus stop chicane.
Well, I quite like it because it doesn't have that many corners, and I swear as I get older I find it more difficult to memorise tracks with millions of corners.
Yeah, and as you can see on the leaderboard at the moment, Ollie Walker leading the way by quite some margin on 93 points. He's ahead of Steve Greening and Evan Conception. Don Parker, who's sitting up in the lofty heights of fourth at the moment. We'll see. I think he's making an appearance tonight, so he'll be looking to push on. Lee Harding, David Lyne there, all close, along with Maxwell and Ettridge as well. So the top 8 places that really anyone could have a go. We'll see who shows up tonight. Further down the line, we've got Nicola Lee, who we've seen last week as well. So yeah, lots of competition going on. And in the Club 1500, we've got Mark Zeff tied with Damon Mitchell on 93 points at the moment. Simon Garau on 67, Dan Hill on 65, and then there's a little way down for Chris White, Pepper, Meesters, Barlow, who I think we're going to see tonight, Du Gerber, Sean Clark, and James Pepper, who we seen last time round at Roscommon. So yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one to see who shows up tonight. We'll soon see the practice and qualifying results, no doubt. 2 hours, so how many pit stops do you think that's going to be? Is it going to be the 2 stop?
I think it's going to be a 3 stopper.
3 stop, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably, you probably don't want to try and eke it out a little bit, do you? It might be detrimental to your speed, especially if you're going to get lapped with the likes of Ollie Walker and David Lyne going around. I suspect they'll be right up there today.
Well, so, I thought it was going to be a 2 stopper, but I just did the calculations and realised I must have got my maths well wrong. It's a 3 stopper. Has to be.
Yeah, and as you can see, the championship standings there with Alpha Esports leading the way in the top split, and it is a duo of the DSR teams duking it out for top position in the Club 1500. That's going to be interesting to go. So it's still wide open to who's going to win that. Of course, we have another race in the league that goes on around about this same time, which is the additional open wheeler race, which is already on our channel. Be sure to check that one out. It's quite exciting racing. So Ollie Walker leading the way with a 144.3, and Rob Miller not too far behind, only a 10th behind, and Dan Shaw up in 3rd position. And I can reveal that Dan Shaw was sitting in pole position up until the very last minute, so that was a great result there for Dan. Well done, keeping up the good work. Lower down the line, we've seen the likes of Lyne, Messenger, Maxwell, Don Parker a little bit down, and we can see Damon Mitchell there, Hill, Meesters setting a good time for the Club 1500. And we can see both Peppers taken to the stage again. Hopefully they won't connect this time round, as we've seen in Roscommon, a bit of a to me to you accident there. But yeah, lap
times were quite close for the top 5, but I think Messenger normally has a bit more pace in the race, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. We've just seen Mark Innes in the pits there, so I suspect he's taking a penalty from the last race. He'll be starting from the pits. As Ollie Walker gets them underway very quickly. And is there going to be any brave moves into turn 1? They've gone flying down there, very late on the brakes. Fairly clean start so far. Nobody really taking advantage of going wide at turn 1.
2x2 here.
Yeah, it's quite risky going through there because it does tighten up. Slide by what looks like Dan Shaw. He's caught Lyne, he's caught Messenger, Miller as well. They're all getting piled in, and luckily the back markers there in the Club 1500 have slowed down. Was that Dan Hill potentially he's caught as well? Yeah, so a whole load got caught up in that incident. We'll no doubt see a couple of replays.
Well, I think of the top split, I think it's just Line and Maxwell that sort of made it through.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even Line might have got clipped at some point there, but managed to get away fairly unscathed. Mark Zeff managed to charge out of that fairly safely. But yeah, that's blown the race in the Club 1500 open as well. Mitchell getting quite a substantial lead ahead of that. We can see a bent wing on Dan Shaw just there. And there's a queue forming up behind White, Mrs. Zeff, Pepper, and even Craig Benefield, who we haven't seen for quite some time, all joining in that ruck. So that's going to be interesting. Of course, these cars are going to be absolutely stacked on fuel at this time of the race.
Although the car is still limited to 60% isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. So, yeah, I suspect Dan Shaw is going to be taking a quick trip to the pits, get that fast repair done.
Yeah, I'd like to see that again, really. I think it just looked like Dan just went just a little bit wayward.
Yeah, it looked like he just lost control on cold brakes. And speaking of losing control, someone else is going there. That was Rich Meesters just getting it, turn it out the the last turn. Yeah, and that's Evan Conception. Look at his wing as well. That's even worse. He's going in to the pits, get his quick repair. Battle here, it's Mark Zeff and Chris White. I think Chris knows he's going to be a little bit slower than Mark for the time being. He's going to be happy to sit behind him because Mark was pretty pacey judging by the qualifying results. So he'll be happy to sit behind them, and it looks like the chasing pack have lost a bit of ground on those two. So top 3 in the Club 1500 have got away, as well as the top 3 in the top split. Ollie Walker 5.5 seconds out in front. Maxwell chasing down as well. Steve Pepper getting through the bus stop. There's a whole gaggle of cars around here, so it is anyone's game at the moment. So what do you make of that start then, Dave? That was pretty hectic.
Yeah, it's not the first time we see that kind of mishap, is it, around here? That seems to happen a lot. But Ollie must be rubbing his hands with glee, really. He's the only one to get through.
Rich Meesters going slamming into the barrier there, as we've seen, and Craig Benefield also having an error there. Wow, so it is not the best starts for those guys in Club 1500. There's still a long way to go. We're only under 5 minutes in the race. We've already seen a whole host of cars take a trip to the pit lane for repairs. So people will be taking advantage of that. Line taking it steady for the moment. I think just realising what happened at the start and counting his blessings.
See the lap times. What's that from Ollie?
Yeah, it's a
very similar. Very similar.
Yeah. In fact, Line snatching it off of him, and then Maxwell snatching it off of him. So, yeah. In fact, same as almost happening in the Club 1500 with Zeff taking the fastest lap this time round. Yeah, so it's a good little battle going on in Club 1500. It is very open. In fact, it's that small little bit of damage on Maxwell's wing as well. It looks slightly. Yeah, it does indeed. Yeah,
slightly on the wonk, isn't it?
Yeah. So he must have got a small tap on the back.
Line was immediately behind. I'd like to see it again. Line was immediately behind the incident, but somehow seems to have no scratch on him.
Yeah, he's got very, very lucky because he was one of the first in line to be hit. So Michael Messenger's back out into the action, and he seems to be chasing down Rich Meesters, who probably is taking a pit stop as well.
Maxwell's very close though. I mean, see how he is down the straight, because I mean, I guess it depends which way his wing's bent, right? It might make him faster or slower down the straight.
Yeah. Especially going up that hill, you can't imagine it being particularly advantageous. But
you never really know, do you? Like how realistic the damage is. Like, does it just kind of have 5 different levels to the car mesh deforming, and they randomly pick one? Yeah,
that's true. Don Parker, who must have got caught up in the first lap incident, making his way through the traffic as well. So he's chasing down Michael Messenger. So it's a bit detrimental to the action we were going to expect in the top split, because it's kind of set a massive
it's
gap.
It's over, isn't it? It's basically over.
Near enough, yeah. The horse is bolted in the form of Ollie Walker, so he'll maintain that gap, no doubt, throughout the race.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed, has it?
No, not
but I mean, Line's doing a bit of defence there.
Yeah. Mark Zeff, he's chasing down Damon Mitchell. You can see he's closed that gap slightly, sitting at around about 5 seconds. Both Peppers there, I can see. So James and Steve still battling for kind of a good position here. It's fourth, and they're not too far behind White, so it's all to play for these guys. And I've got Joe Barlow, who's just a couple of seconds behind them. So yeah, small squirm from what looked like James's rear. I wonder if who will have the bragging rights in the Pepper household after this.
So, any idea what the best car is around here? Because I've heard that it's the Audi.
Yeah, I would go with the Audi, maybe even the McLaren as well. The Beamer it used to be, but it's a little bit sluggish around these kind of corners. Yeah, we're going to see what happened. Looking back, yeah. In fact, it looked like Dan kind of almost lost the front end as well, didn't it?
Little snap. Let's have a look. Yep, there it goes.
He looked at that front left, yeah, definitely. And then
there
Chaos
goes Line.
Shoes.
Line sneaks through.
Yeah, it was just a small tap from Line. He managed to push himself through. Just a little bit of aerobics from Evan's car. This onboard Dan Hill, who was a little bit unlucky. You can see him trying to put the anchors on. It's a little bit too much contact from...
before he nearly got through there.
Yeah, he nearly got through. That was very unlucky from Dan. James Pepper, let's see how he did. Oh, yeah, there's nowhere to go going at those speeds.
That's the problem here, isn't it? You've got those barriers there, and it just, when there's this inevitable instant, it just funnels it all.
It is, yeah. It's Damon Mitchell.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Get himself on a dodgeball team, because that was excellent work.
Like to know how Maxwell got his bent rear wing though. So it looked to me like he got through.
This is what happened to Craig Benefield. Just got caught with Rich Meesters. In fact, Craig kind of had a snap of oversteer, getting on the power a little bit too early. It's Mark Innes.
It's that bump. It's lethal.
Yeah, we've all done that before. And in fact, wow, his front bumper's off as well. That's good. Starting from the pits, and he's taking another trip to the pits. But
it's just that bump. It's it forces you. The only way to take that line is to essentially just completely cut it and get as near to that barrier as possible. And if you take kind of the normal line over the curb, you go over that bump. And if you go to the left of it, you're just really slow.
Yeah, absolutely. But lessons learned. Still a long way to go. Stephen Maxwell, I'm surprised he's not managed to kind of... Yeah, Line's kept that constant gap. He hasn't managed to pull away. So whether that Audi is looking quite fast. Evan diving in the inside here. A nice little move.
Well, I think Maxwell maybe underperformed in qualifying a little bit. So he's got the pace, I think.
Yeah, I'll definitely be happy for Stephen, because he's definitely shown he's got a lot of pace, and he's just been as we've said before, he's been very unlucky at times, especially at tracks like Spa, where we thought we were going to see him either get a win or at least a podium. But hopefully it'll be error free this time and get a good placing here. Dawn Parker going around the outside.
Oh,
that was very close.
No, he hit the bump.
Yeah,
going around it. I mean, that was for position, wasn't it? Was it? But around the outside there is a bit of a big ask. But he hit the bump.
Yeah.
How many people is that going to claim?
Yeah, we'll have a bus stop count there, I think. So Evan sitting in fifth at the moment. will he be able to chase down Dan Shaw? But Dan Shaw did look pretty pacey, and as we said earlier, he was actually in first place for a good time being in the qualifying.
And we're back.
Yeah, so we're back in the action here. This is lap 19, and Joe Barlow trying to make a move here.
So what's happened? We've been gone for a few laps. We've got Maxwell a little bit further behind from Line. I don't know.
Yeah, but saying that, Line's managed to close the gap a little bit on Ollie Walker.
He has. I can't. I mean, I guess they could be. I suppose Line could have just upped his pace, but he's pitting. There could be some. I mean, I don't think there's much point in fuel saving because it just seems to me like it's going to be 3 stops, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see how that affects the time in the pits. I think it looks like Evan Conception's been in the pits, and possibly Mark Innes as well. Rob Miller's back out on track. It's good to see. So, although he was out for quite some time. So yeah, we see a whole host of people coming in. Mitchell and Zeph taking their stops. Joe Barlow sitting in 5th position now. He's chasing down one of the Peppers. They all go in. That's White, Pepper and Barlow heading in, so it looks like there's going to be a little battle going on here with these 3 cars.
So they all came in there like really conservatively, sort of below the line. But do you know how much you can sort of push that line on the entry? Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I think you can in these cars, definitely. You can push it quite a bit. So Joe Barlow sitting in the pits. Change of tyres it looks like as well. And possibly for Steve Pepper as well. Yeah, he was on the jack, Chris as well.
Do we need to change tyres? Yeah, I mean, I would have thought these tyres would go for an hour, wouldn't you? Go for an hour?
Yeah, but I think the amount of time it takes to refuel, it's not going to affect them anyway. So I guess these guys are just thinking just to throw the tyres on. Who knows? But as we see, that looks like Craig Benefield just getting ahead of his pit stall, reversing back into it. So Messenger sitting in 2nd at the moment. Of course, he's still to pit. Close battle going on between Mitchell and Zeph for the lead of the Club 1500, and this looks like Dan Hill chasing White down. Is he going to make the move up the straight? He's thinking about it. He's going to have the inside line. White drops off, let him through. Wise decision, I think, having seen what other people have done through here previously. So Dan Hill moves up to 3rd place. In fact, Joe Barlow isn't too far behind. Yeah, so it's going to be some close battles here, still in the Club 1500.
I was about to say that Line was coming up behind Messenger, who yet to pit, but he's just pitted. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it looks like everybody's taken their stop who entered the race at the start.
So Line's dropped a little bit back to Walker.
Yeah,
He's gained a bit from doing the extra lap.
Yeah, so that's interesting to see. Yeah, so Messenger and Parker now in the pits as well. Evan's going to overtake them while they're in the pits. Most of those top split guys have taken their 2nd stop already, obviously from what happened in lap 1, and that is a nice move there from Mark Zeph. Down the inside, keeps it under control, but I don't think Mitchell will let that go. In fact, he's flying round.
If you get the inside line there, it's over really. You can defend really fast to on the right hand side. Even if you go in at a really sort of acute angle, you'll still come out. Should still come out first.
Small slip from Damon there, but still in the slip. Yeah, it's a long way back to. It looks like something must have happened to Dan Hill. He's went in the pits. So Dan Hill's lost a position. That promotes White to 3rd and Barlow to 4th. So we might see a replay of what happened to him. So Steve Pepper in the pits, what happened to him? Oh, did he rev his car too much and blown the engine?
Did he? I don't think I've ever known that to happen. Oh.
Wow.
Dear.
Yeah, that's going to be a lengthy repair. Or
either that or somebody's just given him an exploding cigar.
Yeah, so this was a replay of Dan Hill's move on White. A nice chase cam here. Yeah. Nicely done. Nicely done from car 14. Joe Barlow's turn now, his teammate. It's going to be almost a replica of what happened between White and Hill. Barlow right behind him. That gap between Maxwell and Line seems to be dropping.
Walker's pulling away a little bit though.
Yeah. So it is a mirror image of what happened between Hill and White, with Barlow and White. So Joe getting the move done. I don't think White was really looking to battle at the moment. Still very early in the race. But speaking of battles, this one is still ongoing between Mitchell and Zeph. Yeah, Walker's still setting fairly quick times. Not his fastest lap, but 44. Still in the 44s. In a line setting a 45.4. So that gap between Walker and Line is starting to pull away. We have got Conception, Innocent, Messenger kind of around each other, so that gap's still able to be caught up.
It's different to know what's happening with traffic though, isn't it really? They could be coming up against some...
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, all to play for still. Anything can happen, as we've seen, especially around the bus stop area. In these 2-hour races, it is about concentration levels and consistency. It's not about slamming in your fastest lap.
Line's just dropped a lot of time to Walker. He's now 10 seconds behind.
Good spot, yeah. And in fact, that's Maxwell just behind him as well. Maxwell's wing is still bent, so it hasn't been repaired, interestingly. Or has he been hit again? Who knows, but I'm sure that's not a feature of the Audi.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what happened to Line there, because he's lost 4 seconds.
Yeah, wouldn't have been a slowdown. It's too much, I think.
There's not too many of them around here, is there?
No, not much at the bus stop. Yeah, if you go very, very wide at turn 1, but. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, hit the barrier.
Wow. Yeah, he did throw the car in there very courageously.
You've got to get as near to that barrier as you can, haven't you? That's kind of what you got to do, but he got a little bit too near to it there.
Yeah. Damon Mitchell in the pits, so something's happened to him. I don't think that's a scheduled stop, but perhaps, in fact, I think I know what's happened. I think Damon Mitchell is put in less fuel this time round, but then has a larger fuel stop this time round, so he might be playing a bit of strategy. Let's see how that fares. In fact, or did something happen to him? Oh, he lost it there on turn. In fact, yeah, it is an unscheduled stop. That's going to change his plans for the rest of the race. Doesn't seem too damaged. Oh, he's in fact saying that the back end is smoking.
That's pretty damaged. It's a funny one to go off there, isn't it? Because you've got so much runoff. If you're in trouble, just let it run off wide, because you'll get a penalty, but space.
Yeah, absolutely. So we join into lap 27 now. line still 10 seconds off of Walker. Maxwell's dropped back a bit, as we can see. Joe Barlow sitting in second position. He's managed to pull away from White about a couple of seconds or so. This is Don Parker chasing down White, so he's made a bit of progress. Looks like Evan Conception and Mark Innes have made their way through some of the 1500 traffic. Looks like Miller and Messenger have retired their cars, and possibly Dan Shaw. I'm not sure what's happened to him, he's still in the pit at the moment. And Dom lifting off a little bit there. What's happened here? That's Ollie Walker off. That's an uncharacteristic mistake there. Wow,
I think Line's just gone ahead.
Yeah, he's gone ahead, yeah. That's a pretty odd place to lose it as well.
I reckon he lost it before that corner.
Yeah.
And that's, like...
He's heated his tyres.
Let's have a look. Yeah,
it's got on the grass a little bit, yeah.
Got away with it though. I slightly scratched the barrier, but he didn't hit it as hard as Line.
Yeah, definitely. That's very lucky there from Mr. Esports, Ollie Walker. But yeah, good to go. He's got a target to chase now in the shape of David Line. Yeah, he just understeered that last moment. Managed to shift down in time as well.
I mean, I reckon that started with the bump. To be honest, I think he unsettled it a little bit, just going over that first apex on the right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and then you just kind of have to deal with the consequences of that, don't you? So then it gets all your line all messed up.
Yeah, and that's Messenger losing the rear end at turn 1. And he looks like he has retired from the race after that. So that's the end of Messenger's participation at Watkins Glen for this evening. Ollie Walker does have about just under a second gap to Line.
So they've both hit the barrier. I mean, I don't know if is that a little bit of, it's difficult to say, but no, Line's hit a barrier and Ollie a little bit too. So I don't know if they're both carrying a little bit of damage now.
Yeah. David Line's going to have a big target on his back,
yeah. But didn't somebody complain about the last race about that we couldn't tell the difference between a Lambo and a Ferrari from behind?
Something like that. He's closing the gap slightly here. Maxwell's closing in as well. Zeph's got a massive lead to Joe Barlow. That's 42 seconds, so I think it's safe to say, provided he has a clean race until the end, Zeph will indeed win in the 1500 class.
It's all about how they take turn 1. I mean, you can, play a bit of a joker with your instant points and go out wide to try and get you an advantage on the straight, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do they do that? No, they're both legal.
Yeah, still on that kind of massive curb, keeps it in check.
You used to be able to go well over that curb without getting a instant point.
Yeah, you used to manage to take at least 2 tyres off, didn't you? And at least saving a little bit of fuel while he can.
That's close to the barrier again.
Yeah.
I think he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, but all to play for. So it appears as if Mark Innes has entered the pits. We'll see if that's a scheduled stop or not. It looks like his car is in one piece, so he may just have a out of sync pit stop. Down to half a second now. apart from this battle here, they are quite spaced out. So yeah, there's not much going on in the Club 1500 or so.
Yeah, this is the closest battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maxwell's just sitting there thinking, go on.
Yeah.
Have a go.
Take a dive, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Innes has had 3 pit stops as Dan Hill moves out the way to let these guys pass. Quite sporting of him. That's what we'd like to see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how that plays out, because it looks like in the Club 1500, Mitchell has got a lot of pace on him. White, not so much. He's still got another pit stop to make to get in sync, as well as Barlow. So I think Barlow, White and Mitchell, and possibly even Hill, could end up catching up to each other, depending on how things play out. So we'll see how that progresses. Now, who's going to be the first one to blink out of line and Walker in terms of pit strategy here? You'd suspect they'll try and run it to the end anyway.
See Ollie with the toe here though is probably going to be able to naturally fuel save a bit. I think he's also quite good at fuel saving as well, whereas Line just doesn't know how.
Yeah, whatever works for you, I guess.
But neither of them with a trouble-free race. You know, both of them with that. You know, that they could have both been out of it with Maxwell leading at this point, really.
Yeah, that's true. Not too much trouble with traffic. I guess everyone, apart from the start, really is taking it quite easy in terms of racing.
Let's see the lap times as they cross over here.
Very, very similar. Not much separating them. In fact, Maxwell isn't that far behind either. Yeah, so it may even come down to how quick the pit stops are and, well, how lap traffic and how they get around that as well. So,
well, I think Ollie went 1 lap longer in the first stint, so he's already got an advantage there.
Yeah, that's true. And we did hear him fuel saving. That's only going to benefit him more. Massive gap back to Conception and Parker, so it looks like the top 3 have kind of cemented themselves as we reach the halfway stage. Of course, this is the full length layout of Watkins Glen. It has the boot rather than the kind of NASCAR version, which when you get to the outer loop it goes straight down to turn 10.
Ollie's a little bit closer now.
He is, yeah. I wonder if he'll be brave enough to make a move, or if he's just happy to sit behind.
I think if he can do it safely he might, but you know, he knows that he's going to be able to run for at least 1 lap longer, so he might, and it's only halfway through the race, so he might not risk too much. Let's see how much they push on the exit, turn 1. See if they both forfeit an instant point. Looks legal. Both looks legal.
Yeah, both of kept it clean. It didn't look like Dan Hill in the background there went very wide. Yes, we've got a number of cars out. Both Peppers have retired now, as we've seen, and of course Miller, Messenger, and Shaw, I guess, is out. He's just sitting in the pit lane. We've still got Zeph, Barlow, White, Mitchell, Hill, Benefield, and Meesters in the Club 1500. So they're still going round. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be interesting to see if that really does take an effect in terms of how long the pit stop length will be And he's even fuel saving down this one. That's interesting. Where are they coming up to now? I think that's Rich Meesters who's letting them by there. Yeah, the Wizards livery.
They're pulling away a little bit from Maxwell, haven't they? Here.
Yeah. It's. I noticed he was about half a second down on the last lap. Joe Barlow into the pits. So that will be his second stop. Nice line through there. It's all about the line down into turn 1 really. They're very similar pace otherwise.
Yeah, he's close enough now.
Yeah.
Line may need to go defensive there.
Yeah, he's going to have the toe quite strong now. I think Line takes a defensive line. Yeah, bumper to bumper almost now. So the pressure is on Line. Massive lift off from Walker.
Yeah, there's no point. You can't do a move there, so you may as well just back off a little bit.
Back into the action in lap 36 here, so we're approaching the pit stops. Still nothing much to report in terms of the lead position in the top split. Ollie looks like he's just happy to sit behind Line here, fuel saving as we know he does so well. Mark F comes into the pits from the lead of Club 1500 here, so top up of fuel and possibly some tyres. As we've seen Evan Conception also rolling past there. Interestingly, Joe Barlow is taking his second stop early, so perhaps he was going for a short one and then a long stint afterwards that will take him to the end. The gap between Benefield and Meesters is actually maintained around the same time, so that those guys must be at similar speeds.
So Ollie's close enough again.
Yeah.
And Maxwell's caught up a little bit.
Yeah, he's got it at 4 seconds, not too far behind.
Well, he caught up a good second on line there, Maxwell.
Yeah, 44.7, so he has picked up the pace a little bit there. He was in the low 45s. Joe Barlow setting a 47.1. That's not too bad for the Club 1500 split. Be interested to see what times Mitchell is sitting in third position at the moment and what he can achieve. I think he might have a bit of a chase going on for second position.
They're still, I mean, it's been going on for a while and they're all really strung out apart from Line and Walker here.
Yeah,
so let's just be thankful for those two.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not much in the way of action at the moment, but...
What's the next closest battle here? Well, it's Maxwell.
Yeah, it is, yeah, it's Maxwell. Yeah, he has closed half a second or so he is... Let's see once the final pit stops shake out and see, because I think there might be split strategies going on in 1500 split from what it looks like.
Do you think people are going for a two-stop? Do you think it's possible? I didn't think it was, but maybe my math's wrong again.
I think you can take, obviously I think the cars are filled up fully on for the first stint, but they may opt to take a shorter stint then a longer stint that takes them to the end rather than filling up twice on fuel and then having the short stint at the end. But try and get an undercut in some form, but yeah, we'll see. I think Joe Barlow might have done that, and possibly Mitchell in the Club 1500.
Maxwell's just taking a chunk out of Lionel Walker there.
Yeah,
so oh yeah, I mean, defensive line.
Yeah, he's looking for it.
No, you can't do anything if somebody goes on the inside like that.
Yeah, Line will be happy to sit there all day long.
All you can do is really hope that the person in front kind of has a little bit of a, you know, sort of tail swap going on after they take a tight line, I suppose. But
yeah.
But if you want to go around the outside of there, you've got to be in front by the time you turn in.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig Benefield hitting the pit lane. So I think that's a scheduled stop for him.
Maxwell within 2.8 now.
Yeah, it's closing in. It's quite a regular amount to close in by. He's closing in by about 3 to 4 tenths a lap now. So
the shenanigans in the bus stop is going to cost him. There we go.
Yeah, lines in for the pits, and Maxwell swiftly joins him. And that frees Ollie Walker. 46.4. That was a
I think he got slowed down by Line going to the pits. I think he kind of followed into the pits slightly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do that when you're right on the back of somebody. You just kind of end up following them into the pits.
Looks like Rich Meesters has overtaken Craig Benefield in the Club 1500, so he's taken 6th position for the time being. It's a long pit stop for Craig Benefield, so I wonder if he's possibly retired the car.
So Line and Maxwell will definitely be stopping again.
Yeah.
And Ollie, he's either going to be in this lap or the one after, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be... Yeah, let's see if he's managed to save enough fuel to take him around once more.
Parker with the fast lap there.
Wow, his wheels must be on fire. 44.4. Considering Ollie Walker was doing a 46 last lap, so he's shown he's got pace, but I wonder if he's a pit stop behind. He is going to have another pit stop likely, which is a little bit unfortunate. Dom showing he did have the pace at the end of the day, but I guess his battle is possibly with Evan Conception, if Conception can move up a little bit. He's going round again, so he has indeed managed to save enough fuel, and Walker reacts to Dom's fastest lap, takes a 10th out of that.
In fact, is that Dom there?
That, I believe, is Dan Shaw.
So Dan Shaw, same livery.
Yeah, it is.
Lap down. Yeah.
Dan Shaw's came out after a lengthy spell in the pits. He's coming out for a bit of pride and pick up some points. Take that with some efficiency around the bus stop.
So these laps by Walker, I mean, even if he comes in this lap, he should be jumping Line, really.
Yeah. Now the leaderboard is showing Maxwell in the pits again.
It's going down the order, yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if something's happened to Stephen Maxwell. In fact, that's Stephen Maxwell there. It looks like his car's crabbing a little bit, so he's had an incident.
So it was showing him there's a pit lane. Did he
crash into the pit lane? Let's see. Well, he's lost the rear end, and he's going to go into the water barrels.
He was in a pit lane, but not intentionally.
Wow. just we've seen this a couple of times where he's slipped. Well, he has to dig himself out of there.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
Austin Powers.
Yeah, we've seen this in F3s and things like that.
Yeah.
Of course, at this moment in time, he's not going to know he's crabbing by the time because he's
now he knows how bad it is. Yeah.
Yep. Once again, the curse strikes Stephen Maxwell. We are going to see one of these days at least a podium position, if not better.
It's a big ask going for 2 hours around the track, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without at kind of sprinting kind of speeds, without crashing. I mean, saying that Line and Walker could be out of it by now.
Yeah, so, very true. So Ollie Walker takes his pit stop. White's in the pits as well. Looks like he's taking tyres this time round. So Don Parker promoted to 3rd position. Yeah, so let's see where this gap leaves David Line. It's going to be, so Walker should be coming out of the pits any second now.
I'd imagine he should get a couple of seconds in him, really.
Yeah.
At least. Then 50 minutes to go. It's not over.
So Walker leaving now. So it's going to be a good 3 seconds or so. So it has paid off for Walker. So he's got a clear track ahead of him. 20 seconds to the next lap car, essentially. So yeah, it's got a bit of breathing space to kind of push on.
I guess that's it. Like a little bit of fuel saving here isn't going to give you another stop, one less stop, but it's going to give you 1 or 2 extra laps that are going to help you jump the driver in front.
Yeah, saying that, he was pushing very hard across the bus stop there. There was almost 4 tyres off the ground.
Yeah, he hit that bump again. Yeah.
Needs to be careful. So in the top split at the moment, the standings are Walker from Line, Parker, Conception in 4th ahead of Innes, who's sitting in 5th. Maxwell looks like he is in 6th position, and Shaw has got quite a few laps to gain back while he's sitting in 7th, with Messenger and Miller retired. Club 1500, Zaf has got a almost 35-second lead ahead of Mitchell, with Barlow, White, Hill, Meesters all in contention in the Club 1500 split at the moment. They're still going around. The rest of them seem to have retired, so that's Benefield, Pepper and Manuel Cruz, who didn't unfortunately make the start of the race. So it would have been nice to see him back. Of course, he was looking very pacey last season. So we're reaching the last quarter of the race here now. Ollie Walker has got a good lead ahead of Line, who's now entered the pits. So that will be his final stop until the end. So Walker's managed to he's got past what looks like Innes. He's lapped Innes and White. We'll see what happened to Damon Mitchell here. He's gone very wide. Clipped the grass and he's into the barrier, so that's going to play a detrimental effect on his championship challenge, because he's going to have to. He's already been in the pits for another error. This is Don Parker. So he was sitting in 3rd when we left him, and he's taking a very brave line across. He's got on the grass.
Similar to Ollie, wasn't it? But
yeah,
very similar.
Almost exactly the same. He's going to burn the tyres out a little bit to get going. Let's see where Evan Conception, because he was about 11 seconds or so. And as you can see, Evan's in 2nd place at the moment. See, but I think he's still got a pit stop to make. Damon Mitchell is back underway. So Joe Barlow sitting in second in the Club 1500. I think he's got a close battle with White and potentially Mitchell, because they're all within about a kilometre of each other or so. So that's, those guys will be pitting in the very near future.
So Lines pitted quite early.
Yeah, I guess the car can still go 45 minutes or so, can't it? With this amount of fuel.
I'm hearing from Ted in the pit lane that Line didn't change his tyres, and then realised in his third stint that his tyres were completely broken and had to come and pit.
I can imagine it, because I suspect Line, he wouldn't have changed his tyres in the first stints. So yeah, not surprising going an hour and a half on the same set is it'd be absolutely screeching. So
I don't think Line has ever changed tyres in a GT3.
Yeah, as you can see, that gap is now over a minute. So yeah, quite a costly mistake there. Mark F comes out the pits and he's got quite a gap to White in second, so lead looks like is unattainable to White and the rest of the pack. That is Dan Shaw. He looks like his car's seen better days, so he may be retiring now. Oh, and that, yeah, very close to the barrier, too close in fact. Been a race to forget for Dan Shaw, but hopefully he comes back again, reset himself.
Good qualifying though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something to build upon. Yeah, it's great.
You've just got to be able to. Yeah, you just got to take a little bit off the pace, haven't you, when it comes to race? Yeah, I mean, I've been there and just kind of used to doing hot laps, not worrying about if you crash, just go again. But when it comes to an hour or two in a car, you just gotta back off a little bit in a few places.
So Ollie Walker looks like he's all but won this race, but even though we've got 25 minutes or so to go, Damon Mitchell in from the Club 1500, so possibly fixing some repairs. Doesn't look like he's changed the tyres, so that's going to be a quick stop for him.
Walker's a minute ahead. I mean, so that tyre blunder of Line cost him, but I think when he pits, it's gonna be about 20 or 30 seconds or so. Still, Conception's pretty close to Line though.
Yeah. So into lap 59, Ollie Walker must be running on fumes at the moment, because he last pitted in lap 40 or so. It's about the limit the cars can take, and indeed in he comes. So this will bring down the lead to Line, although we suspect it's probably going to be around about, I'm going to guesstimate around about 15 to 20 seconds or so, the gap by the time Ollie fills up his car and gets back out. In fact, he's run out of fuel almost, hasn't he? Unless he's messing around with the gears.
I think he does that. Yeah, I think you can do that if you can. If you flick between first and second, it gets you like 1 kilometre an hour extra down the pits.
Yeah, and that's White in for his pit stop. He's I think he knew he was going to be on camera there. That's why he's flashing his lights at Ollie Walker. That's White in. He's in about at the moment, which quite interestingly, with Dan Hill, possibly Joe Barlow as well, and Damon Mitchell. So those four are all battling for second and third. In fact, that is Joe Barlow going around now. I think Dan Hill, he might just be out of contention, but Mitchell has had his pit stop. In fact, Joe Barlow has managed to skip past White here. So that's Barlow moves into second position in Club 1500. Mitchell is probably the faster out of those three, so we expect him to close in the last 15 minutes or so.
Chris White looks like he's on for at least a podium at third position here, and possibly second.
Possibly, yeah. I don't think he's changed tyres, so he's on an old synth tyres, whereas Barlow is on fresher tyres, but we'll see how that plays out indeed. And in fact, as we look at the leaders in the top split, it's a 30-second gap between Walker and Line, so that's even more than what I anticipated. But Conception is 4.5 seconds, but I assume, in fact, Conception's only 4.5 seconds, but he's came in a lap later than Line for the pit stop, so he's somehow managed to pull that back.
I think that Line didn't change his tyres and then was forced to drive around on broken tyres for about 15 laps because he couldn't pit, because that would mean he'd have to do another stop.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Lonely race for Mark Zeff. It's about 2 minute gap between him and Joe Barlow. There's Dan Hill, he's in 5th position, so he is, I thought he had a stop to make, so that's put him out of contention as we see what happened to him sliding into turn 1. That's a shame, but it's kept the car in one piece, so you can still keep it going. Hopefully no one is going to pick him up. Gets it going again. Don Parker in the pits, so he's down in 5th, so yeah, interesting to see where he's going to come out, because I wonder if he'll get ahead of Mark Innes. Mark Innes surely is going to come in shortly. So this is why Dom dropped back. I was wondering why Mark and Evan... Interesting. He may have been going for the fastest lap and he's realised he's got not enough fuel to get him round again.
I've done that before here. I was so far out of it that I thought, I'm just going to stick quali fuel in, go out and set fast lap to get that 1 point.
Yeah, this is Mitchell, who I suspect was going to chase down White, because I think we've seen Mitchell take new tyres, which can be a little bit of an advantage in this kind of skill group. But White is going to give it all he's got. He probably knows that Mitchell's the quicker out of the two this time round, but he knows probably Mitchell and Barlow. Mitchell's probably got the speed to get up to Barlow, so just use him as a little bit of a slingshot if possible.
You can do the move here. It's not very often.
Yeah.
Probably best off backing off like he has done there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the gap between Line and Conception, 3.8 seconds or so.
I mean, just 5 minutes to go though, so it's a big ask. But if you were Conception, you go for it, right?
Yeah, you have to, don't you? 45.6 from Line. 44.8. But I think Conception may have had the tow from the traffic up the back straight.
You think at this point Line knows he's 30 seconds behind Walker, 3.6 in front of Conceptions, and he knows he's got 4 minutes left, so he's probably just going to try and not mess up.
Yeah. So in all that chaos, Zaf managed to make up 7 positions from the start, and Barlow, incredible, 8 positions. So props to those guys. I'm sure the lap 1 chaos helped with that, but it's a good feat nonetheless. Don Parker will be kicking himself a little bit, because he was sitting in a quite comfortable position.
I mean, it's surprising that he that he made those few mistakes. Well, didn't he just manage to make it for 6 hours or 2 hours, whatever it was, around what's it, that Australian track? What's it called?
Is it Bathurst? Yeah.
Bathurst, yeah. It's a much more difficult track than this one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised he's not sick of the GT3s. Right, he makes a White moves out of the way and lets Dom go through, so he can crack on. I'm sure he'll try to go for another fastest lap. He's got nothing to lose, really. You can tell by the way his driving style at the moment. He is pushing it. So about 2, maybe 3 laps, depending on how things play out, left in this race. It's been a tiring one as sparks fly out from Dom's car. Gap maintains around about 3.5 seconds between line and conception. Walker's well out in front, so that's pretty much it.
See how close he gets to that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, little bit of a gap.
Yeah. Good line. Yeah, I think he's desperate to get that extra point from the lap for bragging rights. He's got nothing to lose, so why not?
I mean, Maxwell's a couple of laps down, so it couldn't have been just that one accident. It must have had some other problem as well. But yeah, I mean, Parker can afford to have another crash.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Maxwell is back out. And Shaw's back out as well, so the mechanics have been busy in his pit stall. Got the hammers and done a lot of work. Interestingly, in the Club 1500, I'm just seeing the gap between Barlow and Mitchell is down to 2.3 seconds and is closing. So that's going to be interesting over the next couple of minutes or so. Will Mitchell be able to get ahead of Barlow and take second?
Gap between line and conception is stabilised a bit.
Yeah. Very quick lap from Parker. That was 44.5, so he is almost there. He's about a couple of tenths off. And of course, with the fuel going down, that'll make him a little bit quicker. Maxwell's back into the pits. Yeah. Under 3 seconds, that gap between line and conception.
1 lap left though, I think.
Yeah,
Line's probably safe at this point.
Yeah. Dom absolutely throwing the car through the bus stop there. Yeah, he's pushing it. But is this traffic going to come into play or not?
Well, sometimes it can help you if you get the toe just at the right moment.
Yeah, it might.
But not with 2 of them.
Yeah, let's see. Actually, I think this is Damon Mitchell and Joe Barlow, so let's see how those 2 are going to be battling, because that gap came right down.
Yeah, 7 tenths now.
Yeah.
That's the closest battle now, isn't it?
And I think we might be coming onto the white flag lap now.
Yeah, so he's done probably... Ideally doesn't want to get involved with this. It's difficult to know though, isn't it, really? Like,
this is his chance. Yeah, this is his chance now. It's now or never, really.
Yeah, but I mean that's for just 1 point in in top split. But in front of him are a couple of drivers that are going for a lot. Yeah, fast
and he does get it. In fact, it's a very rapid lap. It's 44 dead. So well done, Dom. Hard work pays off. Now he can relax and just enjoy the battle that's going on ahead of him. This is the battle for second place in Club 1500. Damon Mitchell gets
He's left a gap. He's left a gap there.
Yeah.
He should have covered that.
Yeah. Is he going to regret this? Maybe he just didn't have enough to give. Oh, Damon Mitchell was very wide. He's surely going to get slowed down for that.
That would be a slow down for sure.
Interestingly, Joe Barlow.
Is he going to serve it though? He's got what, 30 seconds to serve it? That must be slow down, surely.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how that worked out. So Ollie Walker takes the win in our first endurance race of the season at Watkins Glen. Slows it down. I think this is... I'm sure Mark Innes doesn't want to take another lap around the track, given it's been about 2 hours. He just waits for Ollie to cross the line. Well done, Ollie. Solid performance today, once again. So this is going to go right down to the wire for second and third. David Lyne takes second position. Good haul of points there for him. It could have been a lot worse.
I think he'll be slightly disappointed though, considering he was leading the race. Oh, what's going on there? Somebody's in the pits.
In fact, two of them is second and third. That's David Mitchell and Joe Barlow in the pits.
I'm trying to work out what happened there. Yeah. I mean, that's the wrong way. That's going backwards. And this is Chris White to take a podium.
I think so. He might even get second place because that. I'm guessing that was an unsafe entry if they've both crashed into the pits, isn't it? So they'd probably get 40 seconds added on top. Yeah, and we see the drivers doing donuts. They're pretty glad to get that over and done with. So Mark Zeff taking the win there in the Club 1500. We didn't see him go across the line, but it was after he'd overtaken White on about lap 3 or so.
Here we go.
Yeah, Mark Innes desperate not to do another lap. I'm surprised he wasn't going to push Ollie over the line there. There he goes. And well done, Mark, for completing the race.
What's happened here?
Just a misinterpretation of how quick we were expecting Damon to... I think there's a bit of both, really. I think Damon stuck it on the apex.
I mean, you're going for the last corner, aren't you? You know, to try... And...
Yeah, I think both of them had an unsafe entrance into the pit lane, so we'll see how the...
That might go to the stewards.
Yeah, so Ollie Walker wins from David Lyne. Actually, that gap came down to 24 seconds. So
I think that's because Ollie was waiting.
Messing around, yeah. Bit of getting some shit there from Ollie. So Evan Conception getting that final position on the podium. Mark Zeff takes the win in Club 1500 ahead of Chris White, who gets the second position, and Dan Hill, who gets the surprise third position from that, with the coming together with Barlow and Mitchell. Mark Innes takes fourth position in the top split ahead of Don Parker, who got the fastest lap of the race. Stephen Maxwell, what could have been, he gets a few laps down from the main drivers there from Ollie. So the points in the championship standings, Ollie Walker extends his lead and he's sitting on 144 points. Lyne on 83, he makes a jump of 4 positions, so that's a great result for him this time round. Evan Conception on 81, and there's a little bit of a battle going on between Don Parker, Mark Innes, Stephen Maxwell, so they're all within 8 points of each other. Steve Greening and Lee Harding, who we didn't see today, they're not too far behind as well. So disappointing season for Robert Miller so far, only 28 points so far. We'll see if he can pick up some extra ones over the next half of the season or so.
He's been qualifying very well as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, unlucky in a race.
Yeah, just unlucky, I think.
Ollie has been fast and lucky.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. So in the Club 1500, Mark Zeff out in the lead with 144 points ahead of Damon Mitchell on 119, Dan Hill on 100 points as well. So those three look like they're going to be battling out for the podium positions. Chris White on 77 points ahead of Simon Garau, who we didn't see today, and Joe Barlow on 46, Rich Smeester's on 42, Dugerber on 40, and we've got both Peppers there, Craig Benefield, who we've seen for the first time today, and Sean Clark, who we didn't see today, but hopefully see him next time round. Championship standings in the top split, Alpha Esports are 3 points ahead of 4X Racing, so it's close between those guys. In fact, interestingly, that aren't they Alpha Esports, isn't it only Ollie Walker at the moment?
Yeah, that Ollie's on 144.
Yeah,
that's all his points. Yeah,
quite some achievement. So the A team need to get up their game a little bit. I'm sure they will over the course of the next couple of races or so. We've got both Wizards down there as well. And that is it from Watkins Glen. What did you make of the race there, Dave? It was a little bit shame about the start. It kind of put a gap on everybody, didn't it? So it
did, but thanks to Line and Walker, we had a bit of close racing for a while, and so some of the club 1500 as well. Yeah. But it's always the way around this track, though, isn't it? Like at the beginning, how many times have we seen that happen? Yeah,
it's definitely the track layout, especially with those barriers. You're only going to bounce off. But yeah, definitely ensures chaos if something happens there. That wraps things up here at Watkins Glen for our endurance race. Next time round, you're going to join us down in Oz. We'll see you down under in Bathurst. So it's bye from me and bye from Dave.
Cheers. Night night.